past. That's why I was on 5 minutes early. I've learned. All right. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mara. Welcome, Leanne. Hi, Maya. Hi, Taylor. Hi, Gemma. Hi, Hortensia. Hi, Caroline. We are live in the group. I presume I can see it live there. So what I'm going to do is kick off in the next couple of minutes. I just want to make sure that everyone who wants to come into the Zoom room can come into the Zoom room, because once I'm away in this content, then we're probably not going to be checking the Facebook group that much. So if anybody wants to join the Facebook group, I have the link in the comments. You're most welcome. All righty. So, all right, we're going to get started. Yes, we're going to get started. Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm going to predict over the next few minutes there's going to be people that are still going to roll in. So if I have to kind of start a little bit during the first 5 minutes, that's what I'm doing. I'm admitting people into the Zoom room. But super excited today to welcome you guys to the Lower Chakra Deep Dive Challenge, which I'm just so excited about. I've got an incredibly powerful process for you guys. We've got some people coming in, okay? Super powerful process for you that's going to, this process has rocked my world, and it has rocked the world of many of my clients. I'm really excited to share this with you. So just give you a little bit of an overview. I'm pretty sure that everyone who's here knows who I am, but I think there's a few people who don't. So I'll give a little introduction. Hello, my name is Tash. I'm a business strategist and a kinesiologist, and I work with soulful entrepreneurs. So I consider a soulful entrepreneur as someone who's doing their soul work in their business. They feel like this is the reason why they are on the planet, to do this work. So I feel like if you're drawn to me and drawn to my work, then you probably resonate with that. And I'd love to see a little show of hands if you do resonate with that. If you feel like the work you do in your business really is your soul work, then you're definitely in the right spot. So let me just have one quick look back over here. All right. We'll dive in. Okay, cool. So today we're talking lower chakras. We're talking lower chakras over the next 3 days, potentially on Saturday as well. I might have a little bonus exercise for you guys as well. So I'll see how we go. But I've done heaps of work, as I'm sure lots of you guys have as well. Hi, Deborah. Done heaps of work with the chakra system over the past 12 years of working in energy medicine. And I've really discovered, what I've discovered about the chakra system, and especially the lower chakras, right, is that we can go so much deeper than what I've ever really believed. And a few more people coming in, cool. It goes so much more, it goes so much further beyond affirmations and color charts and, all of that kind of basic stuff that we get taught when it comes to the chakra system. And I really love to use the chakras with my clients from the perspective of helping them get embodied, right? Embodied in their leadership energy, embodied in their empowerment energy, embodied in their magnetism, their charisma. When we work with the lower chakras, particularly the lower 3, lower 4, really, this challenge, we're really focusing on the lower 3. But when we do a lot of this very powerful, very deep, this is going to bring up a lot of stuff for you. Be prepared for that. And that's good, right? We want to bring up this stuff because this is stuff that we've suppressed for a long time. When we do a lot of this work to release what can be stored in the lower chakras, then what happens is it actually releases this flood of empowerment energy that actually rises up through our system, right? Rises up through the chakras and releases out through the crown, right? We become very magnetic. I'm sure you'll know someone who is very grounded in they're very embodied, right? It's like when they walk into the room, you can feel them, you can feel their presence. They have a magnetic quality about them. It's like they light up the room with their energy. Their energy feels bigger than what their body is. And my understanding is that this is actually someone who's very deeply embodied in their lower chakras. And this is the impact that lower chakra work can have. It can really release this very powerful, very magnetic energy. And when we do this work, what I've noticed personally and with my clients as well is that our messaging becomes more magnetic, our content creation, it's like we can speak to our prospect, we can speak to their heart, we activate them very, very tangibly, viscerally. We can activate people just through cultivating our own personal potency, right? Or our own magnetic energy, which is what we're going to be really exploring over the next 3 days. So I haven't shared this work with a group before. So I've done a little bit of this work with groups, but predominantly this work is reserved for my one-on-one clients and for some of my mastermind women as well. So I'm really excited to be sharing this with you, and some more people jumping in. I'll just let them in. Hello, everyone who's joining. And what I really want to encourage you to do over the next 3 days is to bring in this quality of what I like to call is leaving no stone unturned, right? Or bringing this light curiosity in. We're going to be going to some pretty deep places over the next 3 days, just by the nature of what is stored in the lower chakras. We have trauma stored there, right? We have ancestral wounding stored there. We have, experiences from the past that have been painful stored there. And it's over a lifetime, and in many cases over many lifetimes and many generations. Like, this stuff is ancestral. It goes back into past life work as well. In many cases, this builds into, this is what, when we have this stuff build into our lower chakras, this is the reason why we hold ourselves back from being our unique self. This is the reason why we prevent ourselves from really speaking up in a way that is really powerful, from allowing ourselves to feel our emotions, from, really allowing ourselves to be the kooky, crazy, wild and wacky person that we are, and not needing to feel like we have to put on a face to other people, right? So we hope that this is kind of imparting to you guys. This is incredibly powerful work. And the way that I see it, it's like we're peeling back the layers to our inner authenticity so that we can show up more powerfully in our business, right? We've really got to bring it back to that so that we can be more magnetic, we can be more compelling, we can move people into action, right? Marketing and messaging and content creation and sales, very, very much it is our strategy. I'm a big strategy person. I really believe strategy is incredibly important. But equally as important is this quality that is very difficult to put your finger on, right? This is your energetics, your mindset, the way that you think about your business, the way that you go about your life, the way that you show up, the way that you allow yourself to be authentic. So I'll just have a quick squeeze back over here. I don't think there have been anyone else trying to get in. That's good. Great. So today we are starting with the base, with the root chakra, right? Everything starts with the root. And my understanding of the way the chakra system works is that we have beliefs and experiences that get stored in at the various consciousness levels of all of the chakras, okay? So the root chakra is pre-verbal, right? This is birth, this is conception, this is kind of the age before 6 months old, and then we start developing into the sacral chakra. What happens though in the root chakra will impact the whole 7 chakras, right? It's like the lower chakras become the mouthpieces to the upper chakras, to the upper 3 chakras. So whatever is happening in the lower 4, we're not talking about the heart in this challenge, unfortunately, because we don't have that much time. But whatever happens in the lower 4 chakras, whatever beliefs are installed there, whatever traumas are stored there, whatever's happening is going to feed into the upper chakras. So this is the words, this will inform the words that I speak, right? The way that I express my truth. This will inform the way I perceive the world, right? The way I can vision what my life is going to be. This will inform my connection with the divine, my connection with spirit, and how much I can trust spirit, how much I can trust my intuition. So working with the lower chakras is actually one of the most powerful things that we can do. And I've noticed that there's a lot of people, the trend has kind of been, especially in spiritual circles, the trend has been to focus very much on the upper chakras, right? On work that is kind of very connected into spirit, into, all of the many different levels of reality that exist. That's never going to be as powerful though if our lower chakras are out of balance, if we have a weak lower chakra system, right? That's always going to inform the upper chakras. And in the base chakra, or the first chakra, this is our foundation of power. So this is where we're going to start today. Today we're going to be talking about the relationship with the base chakra, with your nervous system, with your family, and with money. Okay, so in business, we are in the realm of money. We're in the realm of exchanging our services and our products for cash, for money. So your relationship with money is actually one of the most important things to work on and to cultivate, I believe, in business. Those of you who are familiar with my work will know that I do a lot of work with money mindset because it has totally changed my relationship with my business. You know, prior to doing this work with money, I was literally sabotaging it every single second, right? I was not charging appropriately. I was avoiding all of the things to do with the finances. I'm sure you've all experienced aspects of that as well. That's a really classic symptom that the base chakra needs some attention, okay? So if you're really finding it difficult to manifest things, right? If you have lots of ideas that are, you know, buzzing all through, and then you kind of pull those ideas down, and then it gets to a certain point and that idea never actually manifests, or you never actually put in the work or the energy or the effort or the systems or the optimization skills required to enact that idea, then that's a sign that the base chakra is needing some attention. If you find it difficult to deal with money, to deal with like organizational tasks, if your nervous system is in a constant state of stress, right? If you're stuck in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, the 4 responses to stress, then that's going to be another indicator that your base chakra needs some attention. The nervous system and the base chakra kind of, I see them as being interconnected. They're completely interconnected, right? They go hand in hand. And the way your nervous system responds to your environment is essentially the way your base chakra is informing your consciousness, okay? So when we have issues, I have some notes, I'm going to be referring to them. When we have issues in the base chakra, it can look like a lot of fear and unsafety programming running through our system, right? We are in constant state of hypervigilance. We don't feel like we can be fully grounded and present and connected because we are literally existing in this space of frenetic energy, like, right? We can be shuffling round and round and round, cycling round and round with anxiety, overthinking, overanalyzing, looking out for danger, on high alert all the time. That's because the energy that grounds us, our base chakra energy, super grounded, it's what connects us into the earth, has actually flooded the lower chakra system and has come up to the upper chakras, right? So we are not embodied in our lower chakra centers. Now, this can often happen when we experience trauma, right? That's often one of the reasons why our energetics will flood up and like leave the body and flood. Like if you were to look at lots of people energetically, they're just heads kind of floating around, right? They don't seem to be in their body. They're not connected to their body. They're not feeling their emotions, right? They're suppressing, right? They're eating their emotions away, or they are avoiding their emotions. And this is another classic symptom, right? We're not in our body. We're very disconnected. But if we find that we get stuck in frozen, like stuck in freeze, that nervous system response of freeze or flight, freeze or flight, particularly when it comes to base chakra work, then once again, another sign that we need to do some work with the base chakra. So it's, in many cases, we can look at like, how am I reacting and responding to fear? Okay. So there's a couple of different ways that I see this happening. So the first is like, my fear and anxiety is, well, my fear is presenting as anxiety and it is present with me, right? I am feeling anxious, or I'm feeling in high alert. I'm constantly in this space of anxiety. Or the other option is that my anxiety is kept at bay by certain things, right? And if I don't do something the way that I want, or if something goes wrong in my life, then what's keeping that anxiety at bay suddenly releases, right? So my anxiety is very related to what is happening situationally around me. This can also play out when we have programming that says like, perfectionism is the only way. If it's not perfect, then it's not going to work. Or, I have to overachieve. I have to always be giving, always be sacrificing, always be in control, right? That need to always be in control, to always have to have a handle, control on everything that's happening in my life, is another symptom. So it's really, when we're talking about the power of the base chakra, we're looking at how does fear and uncertainty, or unsafety rather, how does that show up in my life? And in business, that can show up in lots of different ways, right? What we're doing in business is scary sometimes, often, right? We're really challenged to put ourselves out there, to, you know, talk about money, to talk about how great we are at what we do, to market ourselves. And if there's issues happening in the base chakra, then that can kick off this cycle of fear, unsafety, and anxiety. So I'm just going to pop over here to another page that I have with some notes. Just bear with me one sec. Where's that gone? Oh, that's not it. Anyway, I'll come back here. So essentially, where have you guys gone? Can you guys still see me? Give me a thumbs up. Caroline, you're on my screen. Okay, cool. Back to meeting. There you go. Okay, cool. So when our base chakra is in alignment, when we have a strong base chakra, then we are feeling embodied in our body, right? We're not afraid to feel what it is that's happening there. Yeah. We are really like grounded and rooted in our purpose, in the belief that we deserve what it is that we want, right? We are able to go after what we want with conviction, with strength, with self-belief, with self-determination. We enact things to the completeness of, you know, we really complete things. We push things out to the very, very end. We don't get 50% and then drop off, or 80% and then drop off, as a lot of you guys who work with me one-on-one or in my programs will know. I talk a lot about this, right? And so when it comes to your base chakra, when it comes to your relationships with money, with your business, with your nervous system, there's a very powerful interplay that happens here, okay? So the base chakra is your tribal relationships as well. This is how your family impacts, a few people who joined. This is how your family beliefs, right, your ancestral beliefs are actually impacting your day-to-day goings about your business, your day-to-day relationship with money. So what I want to talk about is I'm going to start prepping you guys for this process that I want to do with you, which is really, really powerful. But I really want you to know and to recognize as well is that with this work, with base chakra, or with the lower chakra work, you're going to be more resilient in crisis, okay? What we've been experiencing over the past 3 months has been crisis. It's been a global crisis. And how I'm sure a lot of you have experienced in your own business, that crisis energy can floor us, right? It can really have a very big impact on how we go about our business, how we go about our marketing, how we go about making money. And essentially it's about putting a roof on over our heads, right? Feeding our family, right? When we're talking about the base chakra, the power of the base chakra, this is our wiring around safety and around survival. So let's move on. We're going to talk now about the relationship with money and what I believe is the mind, body, and money connection. Okay. So this is very, very grounded and rooted in our first chakra, this mind, body, money connection. And because we've all made this collective decision, this societal decision that money is a metaphor for survival, right? We can think of money as a very base and second chakra energy, right? It kind of all exists in the lower two chakras. We're going to talk more from the second chakra perspective tomorrow. But when it comes to money, we've got a lot of stuff to work through. Who's kind of recognized that there's a lot of stuff happening in their subconscious when it comes to money, right? And because we are all in business, we're dealing with money on a daily basis. So feeling comfortable and confident and empowered in your relationship with money, knowing that you have the ability to make money easily, to be able to have consistency in your business, is going to really help your base chakra, right? It's going to really, really help you to feel empowered in that energy center, which is going to help so many other aspects of your life, including all of the other chakras as they all feed into each other. So there is a mind, body, money connection, all right? And this functions through the nervous system. So who's ever opened up a bill and felt the bottom of their stomach drop away? or looked at their bank account and felt their heart constrict, right? Or like there's so many different experiences that we can put to this, right? Money, it impacts us very viscerally, right? It can create a very visceral experience in our body. And this is because of the relationship with the nervous system through the base chakra, okay? So this process that I'm going to take you through today, a couple of you may have done it with me. I think, Megan, you've done it with me. Maybe a couple of others have done it with me before. But if you have done it with me, I want you to do it again with fresh eyes. You can't do these processes too many times and you will get fresh information every single time. But in this process, I'm going to take you through a visualization, and then we're going to do some tapping, right? Tapping as a mind-body medicine tool is super, super powerful when it comes to working with the chakras, and also when it comes to working with money, because money has a mind-body money connection, okay? So is there anyone here who hasn't done tapping before? Maybe raise your hand or just let me know. Okay, cool. All right. Okay. I'll explain it briefly when we get to that point. But first of all, I hope that you guys all have a pen and a piece of paper handy. And I want you to pull that out, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. And the first question is, this is going to start the process of triggering you. How much money would you love to be making in your business per month? Would you love to be making in your business? Not do you feel like you could make in your business, but how much would you love to be making after tax? Okay. Second question, how many hours would you love to work for that money? How many hours per week would you love to work? Not do you feel you should work, but would you love to work? Write that down. And finally, how much money would you love to have in savings in the next 3 years? How much would you love to have in your savings account? What would make you feel really, really, really safe, really good? And jot that down. Okay. So we're going to do a little visualization now, okay? And that visualization is going to be very, very illuminating for us. Oh, there's a comment. Right now or ever? What do you mean, Caroline? You can unmute yourself if you want. Okay, I can't hear you.
Oh, I just asked the first question, which was how much money would you like to be making?
Yeah.
That right now or ever?
Like ever. How much would you love to earn per month?
Okay.
Yeah. How much? Let's just get that number out there, right? And notice the resistance that comes up with this. Okay. Notice the thoughts. Oh, that's never going to happen. Oh, okay, sure. You dreamer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a visualization, and if you're not a particularly visual person, I'm not super visual, but I feel things, okay? So I'll be using different languaging that will work depending on what predominant sense you have. But what I want you to do is to close your eyes, place your feet flat on the floor, put anything in your hands, put it down, and take in a really big, deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out. And just starting to tune into your body in your chair. Just feel how it feels to be in your body right now with no judgment. And I want you to visualize what it would be like if you could imagine or visualize a movie screen behind your eyes. And on that movie screen is going to be a movie, okay? And that is a movie of you at a very young age, maybe around the age of 5 or 6. Taking another big deep breath, and imagine that your mind could paint this picture even clearer. So imagine what it would be like If your mind could fill in even more detail so that you can actually see what you're wearing. You can see that you're standing in your old childhood home at that age. Can you see yourself there? Can you see that younger version of you? And can you see what she's wearing, what she's actually wearing? How does she look? I want you just to tune in energetically. How does she look? How does she feel? And now I want you to bring your parents or your caregivers into the picture. This is your parents, the age they were when you were 5 or 6. And they're discussing, handling, managing money, bills, finances, money. What's happening in that picture? I want you to see what are the feelings and emotions in your parents. How do their faces look? What are they saying? Did they say anything at all about money? Was there any anger or fighting? Was there stress? Was it okay? And now that you're looking at your parents, I want you to try and find out what kind of things might have come out of their mouth about money. What sort of things did your dad say about money, about finances, debt, bills, about work? What did he model to you? What sort of things might have come out of his mouth about wealthy people? And what about your mum? What sort of things did she say? How did she model money and her relationship with money to you? And finally, I want you to look at you in this picture. Okay, you're there too, but you're just a child. How are you feeling? How do you look? How do you feel? Your little nervous system is soaking all of this up, downloading all of this. Okay, so you in your body, sitting in your chair, looking at this whole picture of your parents and you as a little one. How do you feel to be looking at this, to be recalling this? What does this bring up in your body? And I want you to actually look for an emotion, a dominant emotion. And where do you feel that emotion? And if that emotion could talk, what would it say? Now, this potentially might be a little bit uncomfortable. I want you to breathe through it and bring in that light energy, that light curiosity energy. And I want you to use this energy, this analogy of leaving no stone unturned. What you're uncovering now is incredibly powerful. We're going to talk about this in a minute. But gathering as much information as you can. I really want you to capture this and have as much clarity. Can you see that there may be a match in the way you operate in your money and the dominant way your parents operated in their money? Or is it different? Okay, so just coming back to the feeling of your feet on the floor. And I want you to pick up your pen and I want you to start to write down how that felt. Okay, so I have some questions for you. So what were the emotions, opinions, quotes from your parents about money? Was it spoken about or was it not spoken about? How did you look as a child? How were you feeling? What was the child experiencing? And if you're not sure, I want you to guess, what would a child in that situation feel? I want you to have a look or cast your mind back to that visualization and isolate. Did you feel more sad and compassionate for your parents or more angry at your parents? Angry and shame. Yeah, okay. So we're going to explore that more, Caroline. You'll understand what that means. Okay. And I'm going to take you, wait a couple minutes. I'm going to take you through a part 2, okay? Part 2 of this visualization. So whatever you're feeling, just acknowledging this can bring up a lot of stuff, right? And this is often why we avoid money, yeah? Because we've got a lot of shitty feelings in there about money, generally, not always. I've met a few people who don't have that, but not that many. So what I want you to do is just put your pen down and come back into your body and take another deep breath and closing down your eyes once again. Acknowledging what you're feeling, and we're going to bring back that movie screen of your mind. And I want you to build this scene again, okay? So this is you standing in your childhood home with your parents, your caregivers. And I want you to let the child version of you fade away. Okay, so let the parents of you at that young age stay there. And now something's about to happen. So now you're pulling up out the front of this house in a limousine, okay? And it's you, but this is the future you. This is the you that's reached all of your goals that we spoke about. You're earning that much money per month. You've got that much money in savings, and you're probably only working 15 hours a week for that money. And you're dressed really beautifully, walking into your childhood home, telling your parents just how much you earn and how much you love that you work for all of this money very, very easily. It comes very easily to you. And what happened in that picture? This is really important. So I want you to zone in on your parents. How do they look? How are they reacting to you? What are they saying? And how do you feel while they're reacting that way? Are they applauding you? Are they congratulating you? Or are they maybe a little bit unsure? Maybe they're questioning how you're able to do that. Maybe they're questioning if it's legal means that you're doing that. Whatever it is, The energy is really important here. And if it's one parent or if both parents are responding differently, then notice that as well. Okay, so here's one big question. Do you still fit in this family? And what rule did you just break that you vowed unconsciously never to break? Was there a rule, a familial rule? Okay. So coming back to the feeling of your feet on the floor, noticing whatever it is that you're feeling, and I'm going to ask you some questions and I want you to write them down once again. Okay, so how did your parents react? What was the dominant feeling or emotion within them? How did their reaction or their emotions or their words, how did they make you feel? Do you still fit in this family? And what rule did you break potentially that you subconsciously vowed never to break? By coming into that house, declaring how well you're doing, how much money you're making, how great your life is. Okay. So I'm going to turn it over to some of you guys. I'd love to hear from some of you, what did you experience there? I'd love to hear if there was any big emotions or if it kind of felt like you were a bit disconnected from it. Maybe I'll take a few people who would be happy to share. It'd be good to get some audience participation. Who would like to go? Hi, Devora. Okay, Caroline, we'll go after Devora. If you want to unmute yourself.
Hey, Trish, that was like amazing. That was really powerful. So thank you.
Pleasure. Tell me, what did you experience?
Yeah, so that first round, it was interesting. My mom, like, I felt very clearly like she didn't want to have any intimate association with money. So a lot of just spending it as soon as she got it. A lot of never tracking it. And my dad actually always had an unshakable belief that we would have enough. But not that any more than enough was okay.
Okay.
And so, and very principled about it. Like he's, like, and really associating like being a spiritual person with not having extra money.
Yeah.
So I like really picked up as a kid. So I really felt that there.
Can you see resonance with that way of being and anything that you've taken on?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Both of those things. Like I'm talking about tracking I don't track anything.
Yeah.
and yeah, really struggling with the idea that as a spiritual, as a spiritual person, that it's okay to have more than I like really need, like whatever that means even.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Juicy. How did it feel when you walked into the house in that second visualization? What was the response that you had?
Oh, interesting. So yeah, so that was a fascinating thing to do. And I could totally see that for my dad, it would be like, how could you have all this extra? like there are people starving, like why would you be in a limo?
Mm.
And I think I resonate with that personally too. I'm like,
Mm.
why would I be in a limo? Like
That's designed to trigger you, because there's a lot of people out there that's like, I don't want to be in a limo. So we want to trigger this stuff as much as possible so that it shows itself to us.
yeah, it totally triggered me. I was like,
Beautiful.
and I always like
We're
very
gonna
like,
work through that.
yeah. I felt very like, what's the word? Very like righteous about it. Like, well, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be a limo if I had all that money.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what vow did you break?
Not to make enough money that it's super obvious.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there anything in there about drawing too much attention, or like the wrong kind of attention to you, or family stuff that you've picked up?
Yeah, probably drawing too much attention, having more than I need, and not being obvious, you know.
Yeah. And
like
sorry, what you saying?
Like being showy about it.
Yeah, being showy. That's a big one that comes up all the time. It's like, don't be too big for your boots, or don't show yourself off, right? You're going to upset other people. Can you see, is there correlations there in like, I don't want to draw too much unwanted attention to me? Can you see, is that playing out in your business, in your capacity to be visible in your marketing?
Probably yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. So just really great for you guys to start to make the connections here between what you're experiencing in this visualization and how you're currently going about your business, going about your life. That's when you're going to start to get those massive aha moments. Okay, thanks so much for sharing. And we're going to dive more into, one more question: anger or compassion and sadness? What was more dominant?
More anger, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. All righty, Caroline. You have to unmute yourself, my love. Hello.
Okay, so for me, it was the anger / shame. And remember, no matter what was happening, they were always on the red. You know, I have separated parents, and my dad would always say, I'm broke. If you want anything, ask your mom, because I pay her alimony. And my mom would say, if you want anything, ask your grandmother. She's got money.
Yeah.
So they would always complain they didn't have enough when I know she was rich. Anywho, I know she did have enough. Like, we went to private schools. I felt like we went to private schools, and she like, the vow was that she always has to like say that it's, because I wrote it in Portuguese, because obviously you know, so I'm like trying to translate it, because obviously the memory was in Portuguese. So it's almost like the vow that you always have to show that you have less than you do.
Yeah.
She would go to the private school to say, you know, oh, we don't have enough money to pay. Can we please have a discount or whatever? So I had to keep my amazing grades. My brother wasn't that great at school, so I had to keep top of the class so that I could balance and have a scholarship while he didn't. So it was like that anger about this situation that I was like, look what you're putting your 6-year-old, like your 10-year-old or whatever into. And they would say that they didn't have money at all. And I was like embarrassed that she would just go and ask for a discount because she has enough, you know.
Interesting.
So that was the thing. And no, I did not fit in the family, and I feel that I haven't fit in my family for a long time, and I've worked a lot on it. You know, I moved overseas. I'm away from it all, and I feel like the ones that don't fit in the family anymore, they moved overseas. So it's like my sister lives in Canada, my cousin lives in Houston, you know. So it's like the ones of us that actually have started doing well, and you know, I'm in a WhatsApp group with the family, and they all like complain about money all the time, and I'm looking at them, fuck, like, sorry about the language, oh my god. Okay.
I drop F-bombs all the time, no stress. Okay, so tell me, when you did the second visualization, was there more, well, you've already said this, but anger or compassion? Well, how did your parents react?
Happy.
Pardon?
Super happy.
They were happy, yep.
Yeah, they were happy. My mom was proud. My dad was proud.
Okay.
But I could see that my mother wanted me to give her money.
Yeah.
Because I made more. So it's like, oh, well, now you got to give me some. Like, you have like properties.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right. Thank you for sharing. So just for time, I'm going to keep on going, but it's really great to hear your feedback. And for those of you that would like to share, I'd really love it if you could pop into the Facebook group. Like, how was that for you? Yeah. What did that bring up for you? And, really, like I said before, looking at establishing these connections. How have I taken on similar relationships with money? How have I taken on similar concepts, similar beliefs, similar ways of thinking and ways of being? That's very, very first chakra energy, right? We are swimming in first chakra territory. And Caroline, talking about not feeling like you belong, right? That's incredibly first chakra as well, right? When we're born into a family where we feel, we know we've got that support, we know we can rely on them, we feel that invisible support network around us. Yeah, especially from a very young age, right? From birth, from conception, then that's what energetically starts to feed us a very powerful and strong first chakra, right? And unfortunately, many of us didn't have that experience, yeah? And if you don't have that experience, it can kind of feel sometimes like you don't have a safety net, right? Or you don't have, like, if you fall, nothing's going to catch you. You're just going to be like swimming in the abyss, yeah? So you can work on your own base chakra and work to fortify it by doing this work, right? By tapping, by working on the stuff that comes up, by looking at your money, by, really working on feeling like you belong on this planet, you belong here, you're safe here where you are. That's going to help so many ways to help you feel that way. So we're going to come back to the visualization. I'm going to dissect it a little bit, okay? So if you felt anger and shame or sadness and compassion, then you've got two very different things playing out. Okay, so we're going to talk over the next 3 days about what I call chakra vows, VOW, okay? And these are big decisions that we make at the consciousness levels of the chakras, okay, that are very, very powerful. They're a vow. It's like, I vow that I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to do this, or it's not safe to do this, right? They embed in our subconscious and in our energetic body. And in the first chakra, the vow that we're talking about at the moment is either the vow to be loyal to your parents. If you had sadness and compassion, you have a loyalty vow coming out strong. If you had anger and rage or shame, it is more likely going to be the vow of rebellion, okay? So loyalty or rebellion. And this plays out in two very distinct ways in your money. If you have a vow of loyalty, subconsciously you are loyal to your family, okay? So what you might find, how this plays out, is that you'll have an income cap. You'll have a certain amount of money that you can make, but you can't seem to make beyond it, okay? This is the vow of loyalty that's kicking in, right? Because subconsciously we go, in loyalty to my parents, I don't want to earn too much. I don't want to earn too much because then I might, upshow them, or I might upshow the family, or, what does that say about their plight, especially if they had, traumatic experiences that happened to them. If you have a vow of loyalty, however, this plays out quite differently in your money. You'll find that you live through feast and famine cycles, okay, where you can make a lot of money and then you get rid of it. You make a lot of money and then you might spend it. Sometimes things can happen where our money just goes, right? We have money in the bank account and then something happens. It's like, shit, I've got to spend all of this cash, and that was the cash that I had, right? It's fascinating how this stuff plays out. And it goes to show just how powerful we are, right? We're literally weaving the reality around us, and it's based upon our belief systems, the belief systems that we inherit. Maya, if it was fear, I would say that there would be sadness underlying that. That would be my feeling. Tell me if that resonates with you. Yeah. So that would then be the vow of loyalty. And so this programming, it's programming, right? Conditioning goes right back to the tribal days, right? When we were living in tribes and we needed the survival of the tribe, right? Sorry, we needed the protection of the tribe to survive, right? And it was like, if we were cast out of the tribe, it was like death. Yeah, it was very dangerous, right? That tribal protection was everything that we needed to live. Yeah, that's like this loyalty, right? I've got to stay in loyalty to the family. I've got to stay in loyalty to the tribal norms. Yeah, if I go against the norms, I'm going against my survival wiring. I'm going to be like putting myself out there in a way that's going to cause, subconsciously, this is happening very deep in our nervous system. If I go against the tribal norms, like that's death to me. Yeah. But obviously we also had to leave the tribe as well. We had to fraternize with other people. We had to, marry into other tribes. So we had to leave. And so there was this interplay of rebellion and loyalty. So we actually all have both of these vows playing out in various levels. You will have one that's stronger than the other. But you might have found there may have been some conflicting things happening there. Like sometimes it was anger and sometimes it was sadness. And if that's the case, then you've got these two vows that are kind of butting heads with each other, right? So on one hand, I'm trying to be loyal, but on the other hand, I have to rebel. And this plays out in our business, in our money, in massive ways, okay? So what I want you to think about is, how do you sabotage yourself or attract sabotage? How do you sabotage yourself in your business and in your money? Think about the ways in which you do that. Like what sort of ways do you do that? Obviously, that's a big question. We're not going to spend too much time on that now, but you'll find that this information will continue to drip in over the next few days. So how does sabotage show up for you? Because this is fueled very powerfully by what we're talking about. If you have a vow of rebellion, that's rebellion energy, right? That's battle energy. So rebellion, if you have the vow of rebellion, that can actually contribute more of this sabotage energy, because it's like we're in battle with ourselves. Yeah. Kind of like when, someone says, oh, you're so like your mum. And you're like, it's like the worst thing that someone can say to you, right? Because you don't ever want anyone to say that to you. But when you're trying to be when you're trying not to be like someone, you often end up becoming similar, right? It's like that funny thing, that the way that our mindset works. Yeah, it's like when we try not to have something, we often end up attracting it, because our subconscious is just thinking about the thing that we can't have. It doesn't necessarily know or recognize the negative context of it. So what I want to do is to do some tapping with you guys. So we're going to do 2 rounds of tapping. The first one's going to be for the people who feel anger and shame. Okay. And the second one will be, the first one, once that anger and shame is released, generally underneath the anger is the sadness, right? Or is the compassion. So that's kind of what we want to get to. And then we want to release that even more through our system. So for those of you who haven't done tapping before, tapping is a mind-body medicine tool. We are tapping on our face and our body at the same time as speaking words, okay? And I'll show you the points. The first one is where the eyebrow meets the skin. We're going to do 2 fingers. You can do both. I like to do one and then swap. And then side of the eye. And then under the iris. Under the chin. Sorry, under the nose. Top of the chin. The gorilla points. Oh, gorilla bone points. Collarbone points. The bra strap. And the top of the head. So I'm going to say a line, and I invite you guys to say the line after me. And if there is anger that like comes up for you guys, or if there is like shame, like I shouldn't be saying these things, these are really like negative things, I want you to notice that. This is for the people who have the anger and the rebellion energy going on, okay? So really want you to notice that and notice the judgment there. Remember, we're going to say it might sound negative, but we're releasing this through our system, okay? We're releasing through the system. So we release through the throat, through the voice center, we release through the meridians, we release through the nervous system. It's a very powerful release technique. So someone who has the vow of rebellion, can everyone who had the vow of rebellion put their hands up? We've got a couple there. Okay, cool. Would anyone like to be my shadow, meaning that you'll people will hear your voice? It's okay if you don't want to be, if you would prefer to be muted. Yep. Okay. Thanks, Tamara. So if you could unmute yourself, and I'll just first of all check in with you, my love. How are you feeling?
A bit fragile.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, there's a lot there, right? So much. Yeah. So this tapping is going to be really, really powerful. What I want everyone to do is to check in on a scale of 1 to 10. How strong does the emotion feel? Right? If 10 is it's so strong, get me off the planet, and 0 is I'm okay, I can handle it. And I want you to note that down. And let's get going. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my script over here. All right, so we're not going to do these points down here, the setup points. We're just going to jump right in. Okay, all righty. Hang on, I'm just going to pull up my script. All right, okay. There they are.
There they are.
My parents.
My parents.
And it's all so frustrating.
And it's also frustrating.
I feel really angry with them.
I feel really angry.
It feels really wrong what they did.
It feels really wrong.
So unforgivable.
So unforgivable.
And I'll never let this go.
And I'll never let this go.
I'm so angry.
I'm so angry.
I'm so angry at them.
I'm so angry at them.
And this is justified.
And this is justified.
Because I'm not going to let it go.
Because I'm not going to let it go.
What they did was wrong.
What they did was wrong.
I'll never say that it was right.
I'll never say that it was right.
It was wrong.
It was wrong.
I was just a child.
I was just a child.
It was so wrong.
It was so wrong.
I'm so angry.
I'm so angry.
And I question. How could they do this to me?
How could they do this to me?
How come they couldn't be better?
How come they couldn't be better?
When I really needed them.
When I really needed them.
How come they weren't stronger?
How come they weren't stronger?
Or smarter?
Or smarter?
How come they did that?
How come they did that?
What you did was unforgivable.
What they did was unforgivable.
And I'm not going to let it go.
And I'm not going to let it go.
I feel this anger in my body.
I feel this anger in my body.
All this anger in my body.
All this anger in my body.
Like it happened yesterday.
Like it happened yesterday.
And they don't even get it.
And they don't even get it.
They never admitted it.
They never admitted it.
Or apologized.
Or apologized.
So why should I let this go?
So why should I let this go?
Because then they'll get it right.
Because then they'll get it right.
I'm holding on.
I'm holding on.
It's like I'm holding on for my day in court.
It's like I'm holding on for my day in court.
They took so much from me.
They took so much from me.
And I'm still paying the price.
And I'm still paying the price.
In my money.
In my money.
It's been costing me.
It's been costing me.
In many ways, I'm still in battle with them.
And in many ways, I'm still in battle with them.
My money is a battle.
My money is a battle.
And I really want to heal that.
And I really want to heal that.
So I honor all my feelings.
I honor all my feelings.
All this anger.
All this anger.
And the little girl inside of me.
And the little girl inside of me.
I honor what she feels.
I honor what she feels.
And I'm open to healing.
And I'm open to healing.
For my highest good.
For my highest and best good.
All of this anger.
All of this anger.
All of this rage.
All of this rage.
No one has ever understood.
No one has ever understood.
But today I understand.
But today I understand.
I'm hearing this.
I'm hearing this.
And I honor myself.
And I honor myself.
And my journey.
And my journey.
Okay. You close your eyes and take a big deep breath. I'm going to mute you again, my love. Just feeling in your body. If there's emotion, it is so much better out than in. I told you this was going to go deep, and This is going to potentially bring up some big stuff, and that's okay. All right. The only way out is through, as one of my lovely mentors likes to say. We have to feel it to heal it. So feeling on that scale of 1 to 10, once again, where were you before and how does it feel now in your system? We're going to do another round. And I want everyone to do this one. So we're going to take in a big deep breath, just actually closing your eyes just one more time. Even if you want to just take a big deep breath and sigh it out. Just meeting all of the emotion, all of what you're feeling right now, meeting it exactly where it is. Okay. Now, one more thing. If you feel that anger and rage is still there, that anger and shame is still there, then I want you to tap on the first script again and again and again until you feel it releases, all right? And if you need to do some anger work, we can talk about that after. But we want to really get to this space, right, where that anger has started to reside. So we're going to move into the compassion script. But if that anger is still there, know that there's probably more work for you to do afterwards. Okay, so let's go. Oh, does anybody want to be my shadow? Leanne, would you like to be? Oh, how did I know? All right, you'll have to unmute yourself. Okay. All righty, thank you. All righty. There they are.
There they are,
My parents,
my parents,
living the paradigm they got from their parents.
living the paradigm they got from their parents.
They learned struggle
They learned struggle
and they lived it.
and they lived it.
They learned lack and fear.
They learned lack and fear.
They lived all of this programming
They lived all of this programming
they got from their parents.
they got from their parents.
Maybe they learned alcoholism
Maybe they learned alcoholism
or substance abuse
or substance abuse
from their paradigms.
from their paradigms.
Disempowerment,
Disempowerment,
struggle,
struggle,
lack of personal value,
lack of personal value,
working very hard for very little,
working very hard for very little,
being betrayed,
being betrayed,
having the rug pulled out from under them,
having the rug pulled from out under them,
maybe losing everything.
maybe losing everything.
Maybe they had lots of loss in their life
Maybe they had lots of loss in their life
and they never really got
and they never really got
to the point of healing
to the point of healing
or consciousness,
or consciousness,
joy.
joy.
Maybe they never got to be free from that stress
Maybe they never got to be free from that stress
and they worked so hard.
and they worked so hard.
They gave and gave
They gave and gave
and they sacrificed.
and they sacrificed.
They sacrificed for me,
They sacrificed for me,
for us.
for us.
And maybe they had very little reward.
And maybe they had very little reward.
Maybe they were happy with what they had.
Maybe they were happy with what they had.
And I'm just going to honor all of it.
And I'm just going to honor all of it.
And I feel it.
And I feel it.
And I wish it could have been different for them.
And I wish it could have been different for them.
And I feel how much they lost.
And I feel how much they lost.
All this sadness and grief for my parents.
All this sadness and grief for my parents.
Honoring all of this sadness and grief.
Honoring all this sadness and grief.
And they were up against a glass ceiling.
And they're up against a glass ceiling.
They were the have-nots.
They were the have-nots.
All this grief and honoring for my parents.
All this grief and honoring for my parents.
And the way I can see it now,
The way I can see it now
is by honoring them,
is by honoring them.
I can now choose to live
I can now choose to live
the way I decide,
the way I decide,
consciously.
consciously.
So I honor my parents' paradigm.
So I honor my parents' paradigm.
I'm blessing them
I'm blessing them
and their life
and their life
with their beliefs
with their beliefs
that came from their childhood
that came from their childhood
and their growths and their challenges,
and their growths and their challenges,
all of their journeys.
all of their journeys.
And as I honor them,
And as I honor them,
I release these vows
I release these vows
from my paradigm
from my paradigm
so that I can be free.
so that I can be free.
Releasing all of this from my first chakra.
Releasing all this from my first chakra.
Imagining all of this releasing through my first chakra.
Imagining all this released from my first chakra.
So that I can create a new way of being with money.
So I can create a new way of being with money.
Feeling safe in the world.
Feeling safe in the world.
Knowing I belong.
Knowing I belong.
Feeling grounded in my belonging.
Feeling grounded in my belonging.
And calling on all of my ancestors.
And calling on all my ancestors.
To be with me during this release.
To be with me during this release.
Knowing that as I release this.
Knowing as I release this.
I release it for them.
I release it for them.
Back through the ancestral lines.
Back through the ancestral lines.
And forward through the generations to come.
And forward through to generations to come.
Okay, big deep breath. Feet on the floor, just feeling your body. Feeling the emotion that's coming up for you now. If there is any emotion left. 2 rounds of tapping we can bring down quite a lot. But what you might notice is that you'll need to do more. In which case I'm going to upload the scripts into the Facebook group. And I want you to work with those scripts, okay? So if there's still stuff there, recognize that you might need to continue moving that through your system. If you want to do some, if you still have a lot of anger, what I recommend is that you actually move it through your body very physically. So what I like to do is grab a towel, make sure there's no one home, grab a towel and roll it up like a big snake, and then bring both ends into one hand. So it's like a lasso, and start hitting your bed or your pillows, right? And do this for about 7 minutes or 8 minutes, right? And as you're doing this, you might even like to get it out of your voice. So you might even like to yell, right? You might like to scream. You might like to swear. You might like to say whatever it is that you feel you need to say to release the anger. Anger has to be moved very physically. Otherwise it stagnates, right? And it turns into all sorts of other things, as we know. What can happen, we're going to talk more about this tomorrow, when we block off our anger. This is a very second chakra thing. When we block off our anger, we also block off our passion. Anger and passion are 2 sides to the same coin, okay? So anger work is very powerful. That's how we actually get in touch with this, this big emotion that moves through us. And when we think about the empowerment energy, which is what we're really releasing as we do this work, that is a big explosive emotion that kind of rises up and out. Anger is a big explosive emotion that rises up and out. So is passion, right? All of these big emotions that, really get moved through the body. So that's all I've got today for you guys. We've gone a little bit over time, but I hope that's been useful. I hope that's been insightful. Please remember that your relationship with money is something that can be rewired. It doesn't take much to rewire your relationship with money. And the program that I'm running at the moment, the Lightworkers Activation Code, which I'm actually launching a second time, I'm going to be talking more about that over the coming couple of days. We've been doing quite a bit with money, been doing quite a bit with learning how to release all of this emotion so that we can be more empowered, so that we can charge the appropriate value of the transformation that we facilitate, and so that we can really step into this space of leadership, which I believe is so, so important when we're going to be building soulful businesses. So thank you very much. Caroline won't be here, that's okay. Feel free, guys, if you want to pop into the group and let me know, let the group know your insights. Just go #Chakra Challenge, and be prepared. The stuff might continue to come up over the next 24 hours, okay? Like I said, this work goes very deep. Tomorrow, we're going to be moving into the very powerful waters of the second chakra, where there's a lot there, trust me. This is the shadow, this is our vulnerabilities, this is our emotion, this is our anger, this is our shame, this is our sexuality, this is our sensuality. There's so much that can be stored there, but you're going to have a taste of how powerful this work is when we really do it powerfully. Alrighty, thank you so much. I'll speak with you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.